The Liberal government just issued 2 executive orders using taxpayers' money to hire not 1, but 2 nannies for Justin Trudeau's children. Here's the executive order hiring nanny number 1, Marian Puego, for up to $20 an hour. And here's the order putting Mary Lou Trevilla on payroll for the same. Must be nice, eh? 2 nannies? Why not 3? I mean, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie have a nanny for each of their children. Why did the Trudeau stop at just 2? And look at that. Look at these orders. They were backdated to November 4th. That's the day Trudeau was sworn in as Prime Minister. That is literally the first thing he ordered the government to do. Not, for example, to provide drinking water on Indian reserves, as he promised, no. To foist his personal expenses on taxpayers. There are 6 things wrong with this. First of all, pay for your own nanny, like the rest of Canadians do. Stephen Harper didn't put nannies on the government payroll for his children. Brian Mulroney didn't put nannies on the government payroll for his kids when he lived at 24 Sussex Drive. We're already paying for Trudeau's house, his driver, his private chef, and every possible work expense imaginable. What kind of entitled elitist thinks we should pay to raise his children too? Second, Trudeau is filthy rich. He was literally born a millionaire, courtesy of a trust fund set up by his father. He literally has never had to work a day in his life. His Mercedes Roadster alone is worth more than $1 million inherited from his dad. This is the entitled rich kid who used to charge charities $20,000 a pop to speak to them, even when he was an MP. Oh, and he earns $334,800 a year as Prime Minister. My third reason is that during the campaign, Trudeau made a big deal about not taking government money for childcare. He made a flashy announcement about how he was all for the middle class, and rich men like him didn't need subsidized daycare.
In these times, Mr. Harper's top priority remains to give wealthy families like his and mine $2,000. Let me tell you something. We don't need it, and Canada can't afford it.
The Liberal Party made a central campaign promise of Trudeau giving back his childcare money. Here's their party boasting, quote, Justin Trudeau won't accept his family's childcare benefit. Yeah, so they'll give up their $160 a month childcare benefit and take $160 a day per nanny. What a liar. That's the fourth thing. Trudeau and his journalist wife, Sophie Trudeau, have spun this tale of being for the middle class, being so normal.
We need to ensure that governments keep costs as low as possible, especially for middle-class households. The middle class is already having a hard time making ends meet and struggling with debt.
Yeah, you're all about the middle class. In the days before the election, the Trudeaus actually did interviews where they said they're super normal. Nothing's going to change with their life. They're just like you and me. Here's the Globe and Mail. Quote, the couple doesn't keep a nanny, but Miss Gregoire sees or talks to her mother, the most precious presence in my life, every day. And here she is on CTV. She couldn't be less pretentious. Take a look at how middle class she is.
You know what? We're lucky. We live in Canada. If we were living in the States, I'm sure it would be very different, all the media attention that we would get in the private, part of our lives. We're pretty lucky. I have a normal life every day. I wake up, in the morning and, walk the kids to school and then make the lunches with them, and then they off to school and off I go and take my walks. The kids will have different surroundings and they ask us questions and I answer them honestly. And then again, we tell them things around us will change, but, inside we'll still be the same people and we'll still, cuddle in bed on a Saturday morning when it's possible and just be real and authentic and grounded. And that is so important to keep this on this journey, and I think that we are great partners.
But it's just not true. That's not who they are. They're lying to you. They are lavish. Just last week, we learned that Sophie Trudeau borrows extravagant jewelry from Burke's for free, like a $7,000 brooch, and that Burke's got to do marketing off that deal. She claimed to be surprised, but she's done business deals with Burke's before, and then there's their refusal to move into 24 Sussex Drive until at least $10 million worth of renovations are done to that house. It's just not up to their taste level. They pretend to be middle class, but they are lying. They're entitled and spoiled, and have been their whole lives. Until October 19th, they lived off Trudeau's trust fund and whatever he could extract from charities to whom he gave speeches, and he had his MP salary. But Now he's got the entire taxpayers' trough in front of him as Prime Minister. And he is digging in, making up for lost time. But the fifth thing, and the thing that worries me the most, is that a fish rots from the head down, and the entire government, every cabinet minister, every Liberal MP, every civil servant is watching the new boss to see what the new standards are. Now, Stephen Harper refused to renovate 24 Sussex Drive. Harper fired a cabinet minister, Bev Oda, for billing a $16 orange juice to taxpayers. Harper personally declined his own gold-plated MP pension, literally leaving $1 million on the table. He was entitled to it, but he just didn't take it. That set the tone. In his 9 years in power, the worst scandal of the Harper government was that his chief of staff paid $90,000 of his own money to the government to cover Mike Duffy's expenses. And here, on literally his first day as Prime Minister, Trudeau just takes about $90,000 per year for 2 nannies. And everyone is learning the new way, which is actually the old Liberal way, is take what you can. Don't apologize. Don't explain. Just get while the getting's good. You deserve it. The Liberals are entitled to their entitlements. And finally, the sixth thing, look at the media. The ones who called for the head of Bev Oda for a $16 orange juice. Look, here's Katie O'Malley of the Ottawa Citizen. A nanny isn't luxury and entitlement. Well, it's not quite true. 2 nannies at up to $20 an hour each, that's about 80 or 90 grand a year. So yeah, I'm gonna go with luxury, but that's not the point. The point isn't that they're billing their personal childcare expenses at 90 grand a year, it's that they're billing it to the taxpayer. It's not that they're rich, we know they're rich. It's that they're rich, they're millionaires, he's making more than 300 grand a year. They made a big fuss about not taking $160 a month in childcare subsidies, and then they lied and hired 2 full nannies through a cabinet order as their very first act of governing for something they should be paying themselves. Since when are nannies a legitimate business expense for anyone? Since when does anyone get to bill nannies to their employer? Do you get to do that? Oh, here's another tweet. Here's the CBC's Matt Galloway. How is having tax-paid childcare different from having a cook or driver if you're Prime Minister? Easy, Matt. Trudeau's been elected already. You can stop campaigning for the CBC's $150 million success fee that Trudeau promised CBC reporters if he's won. But Matt, we have a driver for the Prime Minister for safety and security reasons, the same reason he doesn't fly on commercial planes. A chef is a bit of a luxury and a perk, but 24 Sussex Drive is a public building where officials are hosted all the time. It's a public building where public business is done. Nannies are not public business. That's private business, that's family matters. No one begrudges that Trudeau's a nanny or 2 nannies, but a millionaire with a trust fund who earns $334,800 as Prime Minister, he can pay for his own babysitters. This is so gross, but he doesn't care. This is old-time liberal entitlements. The bad old days are back. The Chrétien days, the ad scam days.
You're trying to say that entitlements, I'm not entitled to my entitlements. No, I am entitled to my entitlements.
And this is a new entitlement, isn't it? Nannies. We've got to tell this entitled little prince that he's not royalty. He's a public servant. Sign our petition at PayForYourOwnNanny.ca. The Trudeaus are gross enough borrowing lavish jewelry from Burke's, but at least that doesn't cost us anything. Tell the Trudeaus PayForYourOwnNanny.ca and help us conduct a professional, independent opinion poll on this. What do you think Canadians believe about Trudeau hiring 2 nannies? Like they're some Hollywood celebrities. Scratch that. At least Hollywood celebrities use their own money. Please go to PayForYourOwnNanny.ca, sign our petition, and chip in to help commission our poll. We've got to show Prime Minister Selfie and his jewelry-obsessed wife that our money is not their money.